Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. This lecture is for grade 10 biology, and our today's topic is food chain, food web and ecological pyramids. So first of all, we will know that what is food chain. Food chain is a kind of flow of energy in a sequence, in an ecosystem, in a living environment. So flow of energy in an ecosystem is one-way process. The sequence of organisms through which the energy flow is known as food chain. You can see that plants are taking energy from sunlight, and then the grasshopper is eating plants to get energy, and then the frog is eating grasshopper to get energy, and then hawk is eating frog to get energy. So this is the complete chain for the energy follow up. Organisms are utilizing the other organisms to get the energy to survive. Important facts. I want to tell you some important facts about the food chains and the topic mentioned we are going to discuss. So there are some important points here. In a food chain, each organisms obtain energy from one at the level below. There are two types of organisms: producers and consumers. So what are producers? The producer is the organism which is taking or creating the energy by itself. For example, plants. All the plants are producers. They are not taking their food from any other organisms. They are just creating or manufacturing their needs by themselves. Plants are called producers because they create their own food through photosynthesis. And the next category is consumers. All the other organisms which are taking their energy from other organisms, they are called consumers. They consumes. Animals, all the animals are consumers because they cannot create their own food. They must eat plants or other animals to get the energy that they need. Here you can see the tropical level or the food chain. As I told you, there are producers, consumers, and the third category is decomposers. In consumers, there are four types of consumers. Producers are only plants, okay? And when it comes to consumers, there are four types of consumers: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. For example, these organisms, grasshopper, rabbit, and rats, they are eating grass. These are the primary consumers, means the first consumers. And the other organisms which are eating these mentioned organisms, for example these rats or snake, they are secondary, and those who will eat these two will be called tertiary, and those who will eat the tertiary consumers or consumes the tertiary consumers will be called quaternary consumers. So this is the chain one by one. The first one who is consuming the energy is primary, and the second who is consuming from the primary consumers are secondary, and the third who is consuming the secondary consumers will be tertiary, and the one who is consuming the tertiary consumers will be quaternary. And then these are decomposers. Decomposers are those which rely on dead organisms, which rely only on dead organisms. They eat dead organisms. Now it comes about types of food chain. The first type of food chain is grazing food chain. The consumers utilizing plants as their food constitute grazing food chain. This food chain begins from green plants, and the primary consumer is herbivore. Herbivore means the organism which only eat plants. Most of the ecosystem in nature follow this type of food chain. For example, grass is being eaten by a grasshopper, and grasshopper is being eaten by birds. Bird is being eaten by falcon. This is the one example. There are many more. So this is the picture of grazing food chain. For example, that was the flower. Caterpillar consumes the flower, and then caterpillar is being consumed by frog, and then snake is eating frog, and snake is being eaten by the hawk or the owl. So this is one example of grazing food chain. Next one is detritus food chain. It starts with the dead organic matter of decaying animals. For example, some animal is died, okay, or plant body is died, then microorganisms are coming and they are eating those dead animals and plants, okay. The food chain depends mainly on the influx of organic matter produced in another system. The organisms of the food chain includes in this food chain there will be algae, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, insects, nematodes, etc. So these are the detritus food chain. Dead organic matter is being eaten by bacteria, millipede, and many of other different organisms. Significance of food chain. What is the importance of food chain? How it is helpful to the environment? The knowledge of food chain helps in understanding the feeding relationship as well as the interaction between organisms in an ecosystem. It also helps in understanding the mechanism of energy flow and circulation of matter in ecosystem. It also helps to understand the movement of toxic substances and the problem associated with biological magnification in ecosystem. So in short, it is helpful in the energy flow in the ecosystem. It is, for example, if one organism is dead and it is not being eaten by the microbes or the microorganisms, it will be toxic. So in nature has created this way that even if something is dead, you will see after some time it will be disappeared in the nature in the form of energy, because those microorganisms or microbes finish them or eat them or consume them to convert new form of energy. So that is it for today. We have learned about the food chain and ecological system and types of food chain. In food chain, we discussed about producer, consumers, and decomposers. And consumers, we said there are primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary consumers. What you have to do, you have to give examples of two examples of primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary consumers, and you have to make two food chains according to the types of food chain. That is it for today. We will see you in the next lecture, which will be about the food web. Have a good day ahead and good luck.